What's up, guys? Welcome back to the newbie series of detailing flowchart. In the last episode, Henry and I washed this Nissan Frontier. We showed you how to do the 2-bucket method and why it's important to avoid scratches and swirls at all costs. Today, we're gonna get rid of those scratches and swirls. So the first thing you do in any situation like this is inspect your paint.
By starting out by inspecting your paint, you're going to start noticing exactly what you're working with. So there's some vehicles out there that are much newer, it's brand new, straight off the lot. You might think my vehicle is brand new, it doesn't need no type of polish. So we always recommend getting a ultra bright light and just inspecting the paint. By hovering a ultra bright light over your paint, it's going to reveal all the scratches and swirls and imperfections that your paint might have.
Before we even get into polishing out scratches and swirls, there's one other important step, which is claying the vehicle. Now, what is claying exactly? It's pretty much what it sounds. You take a piece of clay and actually stick it on your paint and it will pull off any contaminants that are embedded within the paint itself. We do offer many different clay bars. These are literally just bars of clay in different densities and strengths, I guess you would say. So this is our OG clay bar, which is our original. And you can see it's just a very sticky substance, and this will pull out any contaminants on your paint. Now, fortunately for us, this is a super light amount of grime. There's really, if you were to rub your fingers on it, you don't really hear that sandy kind of sound. So there's not too much contaminants. So today we're actually gonna be using our synthetic clay block. We have synthetic clay on one side and a sponge on the other. And the nice thing about this is it's super easy to use. You can reuse it over and over, whereas a clay bar you cannot. If you were to drop a clay bar on the ground, it will pick up all the contaminants inside the clay. And you have to throw it out. You can't ever use that again. Whereas this, if you happen to drop this or it gets super contaminated with stuff off of your ride, you simply spray it and wipe it down with a microfiber towel and you can use it again.
So how do you inspect your paint so you know exactly what type of clay bar you need or a clay block? It's very easy to test out your paint. Just simply walk over to your paint, make sure the surface is clean. You grab your hand and just glide across. If you hear any contamination, I'll be quiet. If you hear any contamination that sounds graspy or sandy, how he said, that means you have high amounts of contamination. If you have something that feels like smooth as glass, fortunately you don't have that much contamination, that's when you can stick with our lightest clay bar, which is going to be popped up right here. So we do offer 4 different types of clay bars. The black one that is the most heavy, the gray one which is medium, the OG which is light to medium, and our blue one which is our light. If you have a newer car and it does not sound something like this, just go ahead and use the light duty clay bar. I'll be using the OG clay bar while Jason will be using the clay block.
In order for us to not install any more scratches and swirls or mar the paint with the clay block, what we use is something called clay luber. And this is similar to our wash video, like the foam on the car when you're washing your paint. This is gonna create a bunch of lubrication to help you slide the clay block or the clay bar on your paint and not install any scratches and swirls. So how this is gonna work is you basically spray the clay luber on your clay bar or your block and also on your vehicle, and you basically start rubbing back and forth until it becomes smooth.
If you do come across the area which is not highly lubricated, just simply grab your bottle. We recommend being very, very generous with your clay luber, because the more lubrication you have, the less chances of you have a mar in your paint, scratching it, or even causing damage to your paint. Because imagine if you grab a sticky substance like this, you just glide it across the surface of your vehicle, there's not gonna be any type of lubrication sitting on it. So the more lubrication you have, the better to you. We do not recommend diluting clay luber. Clay luber comes ready to use, so simply use it straight out the bottle, spray, glide, and you're good to go.
A lot of people will ask, well, why can't I just use water as a lubricant? That's wet, right?
Yeah, and the answer is water actually has a lot of different types of minerals in it. It has calcium, it has different types of minerals in it, which is going to make the water heavy. Over time, once you start using it, it's going to deteriorate your clay bar because all the calcium is going to eat up your clay bar or a clay block, and it's not going to last as much. And then since water is heavy and it might have contaminants in it, it's going to scratch your paint. So we recommend preventing all that by using the proper steps. Use clay luber, your clay block, clay bar. Like this, you achieve a perfect clay decontamination, and like this, your paint stays pristine and shiny at all times.
Now, there is one thing I do want to address, is that we get comments a lot. We've expressed in our videos that even your brand new car off the lot, you should clay bar before you do anything. And we've gotten feedback on that where people think we're crazy for that.
Yes.
But think about this. You're not the first person that drove that car. How many times has that car been test driven on the lot? How much has it been sitting outside with all kinds of industrial fallout or contamination? That new car might even be worse than one that's been sitting in your garage. So it might not make sense, or it might not seem like common sense to have to clay bar a brand new car. But honestly, there's probably some contaminants on there that you don't even think about.
We only recommend cutting off a portion out of your clay. So cut off a little, like 1/4, then you'll turn it into a little ball, and then you'll squeeze it down into a little patty. Like this, you have a perfect coverage. How I like to spread it out is 3-finger width, and then I go to clay. And then once it gets super contaminated, we recommend refolding it, and then you redo the same step around the whole entire vehicle. How do you know when to toss it out? When your whole entire clay is filthy, dirty, just toss it out, get a new piece, and that's when you get to use it. If not, restore it back into your little plastic, put it away in a safe spot, and reuse it next time whenever you're detailing. All right, so now we just finished clay barring the whole entire surface of the vehicle. The vehicle is now smooth as glass. Now it's time to move on to the polishing step. So we do offer different types of polishers, from the most beginner, which is a Torque X, all the way to the most detailed or professional, which is a Torque 15DA or even the Torque 22D. That does not mean every single polisher is for beginners or professionals. They all work for both. So Jason, on his hand, he has a Torque 10FX. The Torque 10FX, how I like to say, it's like the big brother that looks after all the polishers. The reason why, it has an 8mm throw, but the cool thing about it is it also goes up to a 6-inch backing plate, a 5-inch, and even a 3-inch backing plate. Like this, you get to cover all around the whole entire vehicle, whether you have a small intricate areas or big flat areas, the Torque 10FX is going to cover you. If you're working on a surface that is very flat, it does not have that many curves like this Nissan Frontier, this is why I went with the Torque 22D. The Torque 22D is an amazing machine. It has a 21mm throw, but the odds about this is if I do come into intricate areas, unfortunately I cannot change out my backing plate. It has to stay at a 6-inch backing plate. That's when Jason will come back and look after me. So that's why I like saying that the Torque 10FX is a big brother for the rest of the machines, because you can swap out the backing plates. The Torque 10FX also has a 700-watt motor compared to something like this. This has a 900-watt motor, so it is going to be cutting a lot faster, but the Torque 10FX, the slower you work, the better results you'll get, so keep that in mind.
That's exactly right, Henry. So I like this one personally because it's very versatile, and for a beginner like me, it's not too big, it's not too small, it's like just right in the middle, and it can get done a lot of different polishing applications. Now, if you find yourself working on huge vehicles all the time, like big trucks like this, the 22D is going to save you so much time and effort because you have that big 21mm throw, versus this will take me a little bit longer to get it done, but it still gets it done. They all get the job done. Now, on top of that, we have our
Foam pad.
Polishing pads. So this is our Quantum Orange Hexlogic pad. As you'll see from this chart, the color of the pad dictates how heavy the cut is as well.
Yes.
Some of these pads cut, and some of them are very soft. They don't cut at all. We'll use those in our later videos to apply glazes, sealants, and waxes.
Before you guys start commenting down below asking why does Jason's pad have a hole in the middle and Henry's doesn't, the reason is because that is the Quantum pad. If you guys see the edges are flared. It looks like a little fan out. The hole in the middle is going to help you disperse the heat across the whole entire pad, so you won't have a high heat in just one area. Compared to this pad does not have a hole in the middle. It's still going to disperse the heat across the whole surface, but just be sure to constantly be moving the pad around the whole entire vehicle. So today we're going to be using the orange medium duty cutting pad to remove any scratches and swirls that the paint might have, because this paint does have pretty deep scratches, and we need a product that's going to help us remove them safely and easily in a timely manner. So today we're going to be using what product, Jason?
We'll be using C4 Clear Cut Correction Compound. This is an amazing compound that removes deeper defects and scratches and swirls, and is great for beginners because you just need this one product to get started. And then after this, we go to our second step,
which is going to be refining the paint with P4 polish. P4 polish is going to refine any micro scratches and swirls that C4 might have left behind, because keep in mind, a compound is going to have a much deeper cut, and then you need to refine and bring back the lustrous shine with something like P4 Precision Polish. P4 Precision Polish can also be used with a white pad or even a green pad just to bring back the lustrous shine. P4 Polish is going to be a great one-step as well. You could also use that as a one-step just in case you have light scratches and swirls and you just want something that gets you in and gets you out. P4 Polish, but in this occasion, this paint is severely neglected, so this is why we need to pair the C4 and P4 together to get an amazing shine and reflection.
Exactly. And just like sandpaper, if you were to use that on something to sand it down, you use the heavy grit to basically get deeper into it, but then you want to refine that with a lighter polish so it gets nice and smooth. So that's the same principle here, where we're cutting those deep scratches out with C4 and then refining it with P4. So what you're going to do is you're going to shake up your product so that it's nice and mixed together. And we're going to put 5 pea-sized drops onto our pad here. We recommend a 2x2 area to get started and then work in each of those areas. Now, one other thing you want to do before you get started is spray your pad with polishing pad conditioner. This will help keep your pad moist and reduce friction while you're polishing. Basically, blotch out the product on your paint. You also want to take the cord and put this over your shoulder so you don't scratch the vehicle. Turn your polisher on the lowest speed setting to spread the product out along your 2x2 area, and then jack that baby up to speed setting 6 and get to work. Now, when you're polishing, something that I probably would assume you'd want to do is stay on one section for a long time, but I think that's actually a bad idea, right, Henry?
That's actually very bad. Once on speed setting 6, you're gonna work side to side, and then once you're done with the area, you go up and down and then side to side to work it until it turns clear. But how much pounds of pressure do you actually put down? It's only 5 pounds of pressure. You do not want to be on top of your machine going like so. You just want very little bit of pressure on it and let the machine do its job. So if you are using a dual action and you start seeing your bagging plate just get stuck, that just means you're using too much pressure. The rotary machine is a completely different ball game. Whenever you are using a rotary machine, you still blotch it out, you smear it, but you do turn on the machine away from the paint, not on the paint. DA machines can be turned on while the machine is sitting on the paint, while rotaries has to be turned on away from the paint. So once you work it side to side, and then up and down, side to side, and you see your product starting to clear or translucent, wipe it off using a premium microfiber towel, inspect the cut. If you like it, continue. If not, you could drop to something much more heavier, like our V-line. Once it is time to move on to the next step, what I like to do is I like to blend in my work. Like this, you don't have a high spot. So even though you're working on 2x2 area, you're still going to want to encounter a little bit from your previous pass. Just hover over it, polish it out like this. You get a perfect finish around the whole entire vehicle.
Exactly. You don't want to be stuck with polished lines across there where maybe you hit one section and missed a little stripe. Yeah, unless you're into tiger stripes, maybe you are. But yeah, definitely go over your previous line and that'll blend it in nicely overall and it'll be beautiful. As you can see here, Henry is using the white polishing pad with our P4. The white polishing pad has a very light cut to it, so it's just a tiny bit of refinement with the pad as well as with P4 itself. All right, guys, and it's that easy to clay and polish your ride. I mean, we got rid of those scratches on that panel super easily. Yeah. 2-step process, and it came out beautiful. Like the difference, the before and after is kind of amazing. Those scratches. You guys can see it too. Yeah, it's like you wouldn't even notice those scratches were ever there. So we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of the vehicle and then move on to the next step in the detailing process, which is going to be protecting all of our hard work that we just did. Because we don't wanna do this all over again. It was a lot. It looks beautiful, we wanna keep it beautiful. Join us for our next video where we show you all the different ways that you can protect your ride.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what other feature video you want to see, and we'll see you guys next time right here at the Chemical Guys Detail Garage.
That's right.
You're cleaning up.
Woo!